Very good. So now we have the recording on progress. That means that it's official. We welcome everybody to the third session of 4 of QuickBooks Online, sponsored by Ogunquit Chamber. Welcome everybody, and I'm happy that we're getting almost to the end. That will be 2 weeks from today. And I wanted to do a little recap of what we have learned so far. I want to stress once more, this is not a teaching session. This is a session where we want to give you a flavor as to what QuickBooks Online, what it looks like, what it feels like, and in my opinion, for you to appreciate that probably is the best application, accounting application, what they call software as a service, SAS. That means that the software is resident in the cloud and you don't have to do anything other than use it. I believe there are many applications out there. I believe this is one. I believe it's the best one. And I think throughout the first 2 courses you've seen, it's very easy, it's very forgiving, and very important. It's a very nice way of having you in control of your accounting, of your bookkeeping. You're not going to have a third-party bookkeeper. You're not going to have your accountant in charge. However, they are not just welcome, they can participate in the accounting process by supervising, what I call in my practice, supervised bookkeeping. I think that is the third stage of bookkeeping, where you, even though you may not consider yourself an expert in bookkeeping, and many times are afraid you want to leave it to the expert, no. You do the bookkeeping because it's so easy with QuickBooks Online, but then you have your accountant supervising it by reviewing it once a week, once a month, off premises, because they have access. And that, I believe, is not only the most effective way to do it, it's only the cheapest way to do it. As always, I remind you that you can go, if you want to get a refresher as to specific areas, be it how to manage vendors, how to pay checks, how to collect from clients. QuickBooks Online has a very good library of online video tutorials. The easiest way to find them is to go to my website, Noznickcom, and then under tutorials, you click and you will see the link to all of the videos that QuickBooks has. And I give you this address because Noznick.com is easier than, I don't know what the address is of QuickBooks. That's the one thing that they make it very difficult. So am I able to share now, Alice? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to share the screen so that we can go to the, okay, ditch the 4-minute limit. Let's go to, okay, see what I was telling you, this is the Noznick.com. It's so easy. All you have to do is video tutorials. And there, what you're going to find is you're going to find some of the most important ones, credit cards, invoices, how to write checks, and so forth. And then you can go and see them all just by clicking this link. And here, you've got all of the videos, video tutorials. So anyways, that's the little ad for Intuit, for QuickBooks. What we're going to do, as we always do, is we are going to use the online sample, Craig's Design and Landscaping, that QuickBooks Online offers, and it's right here. So when you click on that link, and by the way, I encourage all of you to go and visit this Craig's Design and Landscaping Services, which is the online tutorial. You can play with it. It's a real life application. However, it's designed so that when you leave, everything is gone, and whoever starts again, it will start from scratch. So you can play, you can get a feeling how to write, how not to write checks, etc. And very fast, what I want to do is just go back to where we've been. Remember, this is the landing page. This is what you're going to see when you go to your QuickBooks Online. And these are the workflows that you can follow, or you can also see the business overview. This is, as the title says it's just an overview of how you're doing, profit and loss, expenses, etc. This can be designed and customized so that you see the information you want. And it's dynamic so that you can design whether last month, this year, last quarter, you decide, the type of information you want and when you want it for. Okay, so this will change according to your selection. Then remember that you have your menu on the left. This is the menu that you're going to follow depending upon what you want, and it's expenses, checks and expenses, vendors. Then you have sales, where you're going to have the sales, invoices, clients. And if you want to do a new check, you want to write a new check, you want to make a deposit, you want to make an adjustment, go to this button, new, and here you decide what is it that you want to do. Depending on the activity that you're about to do, you can always go just by clicking new. And finally, remember that no matter where you want to get to in QuickBooks Online, there's always at least 3 ways to get there. So it's very intuitive. You can get to where you want to be just by following, the left menu, or you can follow the wheel, depending upon what you want to do. Today, what we are going to do is we've seen, we have reviewed how to write checks. We have reviewed how to make deposits. Last time, we focused on the artificial intelligence aspect of QuickBooks, which is the downloading of transaction. Remember, you do it by going to banking. And then within banking, you will see your bank account, checking, savings, credit card, line of credit. And it's going to automatically download from QuickBooks Online every night, so that in the morning, you're welcome with all the transactions that have been cleared through the bank. And this is the way you're going to account for it. Remember, it's going to be, if the system already has a history and has intelligence on past expenses or deposits, it will tell you, this is the way I think it should be posted. If you already wrote a check and now it's coming down and you want to match it, this is the way you match it. And all you have to do for your accounting is click in the match and it's already posted. Click in the match, already posted. So you can see that artificial intelligence has been brought to accounting, to bookkeeping, and it makes the system very easy. Once you've done your, you've written your checks, you've made your deposits, you've cleared your, what I call the lobby, which is the banking section. Then at the end of a month, what you want to do, and this is a very important control feature. QuickBooks Online, like any accounting system, is as good as the information that we put in. What they call the garbage in, garbage out, it certainly works here. If you're not doing a good job of writing checks, of keeping up with the transactions that clear the bank, then the reports you're going to be getting from QuickBooks are not going to be relevant. However, there are controls within the system to make sure that the quality, make sure that the information has the quality that you need. And the very important one is the reconciliation of accounts, specifically reconciliation of financial assets, that is cash. I've been surprised by, I'm a CPA for small and medium-sized companies, and I am shocked by how some very, very profitable enterprises making some very significant amount of profits, and they don't know about reconciling. Their basic control is looking at the bank, and because they know the business so intimately, they feel that they could recognize transactions that look, they don't look proper. Well, reconciling is critical because it's not just what you see, it's what you don't see. If there are deposits that you should have had, you didn't have. Anyways, the process of reconciling, as the name implies, is just making sure that the transactions that have been recorded on your books, namely QuickBooks Online, are the same as the transactions that have been cleared by your bank, be it checking, savings, credit card, line of credit. So what you're doing is you're comparing both universes, right? Your QuickBooks Online, your bank statement, and saying, okay, and remember, the old fashioned was, okay, check number one, yep, it's here, and the pencil. And then you go down and you say, okay, I don't have this check. I have a check outstanding. It was written at the end of a month. They haven't cashed it. There are some deposits that I have that didn't clear the bank. Maybe they are in transit. It's a boring activity, and it's so detailed and prone to errors. Well, QuickBooks Online, again, with a bit of artificial intelligence, makes the reconciliation of accounts much, much easier. And again, depending upon the quality of your input, is going to be how fast and how easy the reconciliation is going to be performed. So the way to do a reconciliation, again, typically at the end of a month, what you're going to have is you are going to have your bank statement available. And if you remember, your bank statement consists of balance at the end of last month, beginning of this month, the balance at the end of this month, and then it will summarize all of the checks, all of the debit transactions, electronic transactions, all of the credit, all of the deposits, and then it gives you the list, the individual list of debits, credits, deposits, checks, and so forth. So what you do is you go to the reconciliation area in QuickBooks. You get there, again, you can get there 2 or 3 different ways. The easiest way is to go here, the wheel, remember, by areas, and this is going to be tools. Here you have reconcile, okay? So again, the wheel, under tools, reconcile. You go to the reconciliation. And by the way, let me see if I can get back to this one. No. Every time you open a new section and you haven't done it, it will tell you, hi, we can get started. But if you want to before, you can see this video. And it takes you to the tutorial right from the QuickBooks application. So here we have, let's do it. Okay, so this is what the reconciliation landing page looks like. Here they say, we know it's hard, but you can go and watch this video. That's the benefit of having QuickBooks Online, among others, that because it's online, because it's interactive, by hyperlinking, you can go to the video. It can really hold your hand all the way through the process. So for instance, it says, listen, you're having difficulty. This is an information button. Having difficulty? Why don't we watch a video? And right here, it will give you a video.
Hello, and welcome to this video demo of the new Reconcile experience available in QuickBooks Online.
Okay, so this happens to be 7 minutes. You just go for a brand new cup of coffee, sit down, listen to it, and you're going to be a little bit better off. And remember, if you're still stuck, if you're not so familiar with either accounting terms or QuickBooks Online, remember that every Friday, we're more than happy to offer you, our viewers, members of the chamber, 15 minutes free time. Every Friday, you can call us every Friday. We'll be more than happy to try to resolve any technical issues you have with QuickBooks Online, with accounting in general. 15 minutes for free. call us, just send me an email and tell me that, what time makes, what's a good time for you. So anyways, here we are, we're going to reconcile. Once we saw the video, we don't need it anymore. Here we are, very clean. What you need to do is you need to first choose what account are you going to reconcile. Is it going to be checking, savings? Some businesses have 3 different checking accounts, 2 credit cards, etc. The information that you're going to get once you select the one you want, okay? I'm sorry. Savings, for instance, you're always going to have what was the balance last month, last period, right? We're going to stick to checking. So the month before was 5,000. Now, normally, you also will see the last reconciliation was January 31, 2022. Here, because it's a dynamic presentation, erases every time you leave, it just shows you beginning balance 5,000. What you do is 2 things. You're going to look at your bank statement and you're going to say the ending balance, let's say, was $3,580. Okay? And then the ending date, well, it's going to be, we're doing February, so it's going to be February 28th. When you are within the year, it can automatically put the year, as you can see. So you're saying the beginning was 5. Okay, so then you say start reconciling. It will automatically, okay, go and find all of the transactions that have been cleared through the bank, through the artificial intelligence, within the period that you're doing. Anything that is identified as never having been reconciled before, okay? And it puts it right here. So it says, look, right now, all we have is a payment of $87.50 and a deposit of $50. Okay, what happens, automatically, anything that is new, it will automatically be checked here. But, again, because it's the sample, right now, we don't have anything. So we're going down, and you can see we're doing February. However, there are transactions from November, December that have not been reconciled. And they have not been reconciled because they have not cleared the bank. Then we look at the statement and say, no, it's already clear. So let's say here that all of these transactions, the only transactions that the system recognizes as being reconciled are these 2. This is a check that we wrote and a deposit that we received. Everything else has not been reconciled. What we can do is we can say, well, tell you what, we are going to mark as reconciled everything, all the transactions. The computer will say, are you sure? Yeah. Okay, if we put, wait a minute. Here we go. Yes, select all. Is not doing it. Okay, this system is not doing. Normally, you would have them all. So if you have to do one at a time, you say, okay, this one has been cleared. Okay, so as you can see, automatically, the difference, it says you started with 5,000, you receive a payment of $87.50 and a deposit of $50. That means that we have cleared $4,962. You said that the ending balance was $3,580. That means that we still have a difference of $1,382. So you say, okay, this one was cleared, so it reduces it, right? This one was cleared, and you go on and on, defining which ones, right? Now it's telling you it went the other way. You have now cleared $602 more than what you had before. When you finish the reconciliation, you will have identified any items that are still outstanding. You will identify some items that will need correction. But at the end of the month, and again, I don't have the actual bank statement, so I cannot do the actual bank reconciliation, but you will have a difference of 0, okay? And then let me see, I can save it for later, by the way, if I'm not done. So it will keep whatever I had. And then if I want to go and see reconciliation for the month before, for the year before, there is a history by account. And it seems like they don't have any history here. Obviously, they did not include actual prior reconciliations. But again, the way to get to a reconciliation, and once you start trying it, you see that, especially after you've done 1 month and 2 months, because you have cleaned up anything that was there that should have been cleaned up, and then you will end up with a summary. Okay, history by account. If there were accounts reconciled in prior months, you would find the actual report of the reconciliation. You would see any all outstanding checks, deposits. If they haven't been cashed in 6 months, 8 months, probably you have either a de facto policy or a written policy. You can write them off. If they are collected later on, you reinstate them. So again, in order to do a reconciliation, you can actually, you could, for instance, what I've done is I've gone to the actual register for the checking. And again, I got there backwards from the reconciliation. I can go from, say, accounting, right? I go to the chart of accounts. And then I go to checking and I see the register. That was one way to getting to the register. The other way was through the reconciliation. Another way can be through the report. So there's many ways. Always remember at least 3 ways to get to where you need to get. Here we have a register, and the register, as you remember, basically is all the debits and credits, all the checks that have been written, or the deposits in case of a checking account. And you have the ability to sort it by date, ascending, descending. Here is the latest date. It was February 26, the latest entry. Okay, so what we're trying to do is, let's say that we were reviewing some of the transactions and we are ready to reconcile. You can go straight to the reconciliation right here. That's one way. The other one is through the wheel. The other one is through the actual reports. So let's say we go back to the reconciliation. Okay. Gives you a lot of information, and many times it just gets in the way. Here is the reconciliation. You can continue. You can save for later. Okay, and continue doing your posting. This is the reconciling. I don't have the actual bank statement. You would have seen how easy it is. Try it. And if you run into some technical problems, call me, because sometimes it's not necessarily a system problem. It's more of an accounting problem. And it's the mechanics of how to reconcile the bank account, the checking account, the savings account. Very good. What I want to do now is I want to take you to the next topic we're going to cover today, and that is, after we have done our posting throughout the month, we have written checks, we have made the deposits, they've all been written through, typed through the system, QuickBooks Online, and then overnight, once the transactions are cleared, once those checks have been cashed and they have been cleared, they are downloaded again in our banking section, where we can then clear it, right? Savings only has one, let's see. It's a deposit that has been matched with the books and the bank. All we have to do, match it, and now we have it cleared. Okay, we can then reconcile, make sure that once the account is reconciled, we have accounted for all outstanding checks, deposits in transit. Then we know that the accounts agree with the third source, that is the bank statement in this case. Then we go to the next step, and that is we are going to create reports. Creating reports in QuickBooks, once you have all the information input and reconciled, it's very, very easy. As easy as just clicking on reports. It's going to take you to the reporting section of QuickBooks Online. Choosing the right report. It's more important to know exactly the information you want. Typically, the two reports that are the more standard, the more popular, the more used, your balance sheet, excuse me, and your profit and loss. A third one, cash flow. It is meaningful, but you really need to know a little bit more about accounting in the way it is put together. Cash is king. It's important to know, where the cash has been spent. It's important to know what the source of cash was. But I believe, especially for a small and medium-sized manager of a small and medium-sized business, looking at a balance sheet and looking at a P&L will give you all the information you need in a more traditional way, in a way that you will understand it better. Therefore, here you can choose. They're giving you the most popular statements again, balance sheet and profit and loss. However, you can see that the menu of reports that are available, it's quite extensive and quite expansive, okay? We're not going to go through all of them. I can tell you that in general, the second tier of reports that are important are the aging, the vendors aging, the clients aging. So you go to sales and customers, you want to see the aging of the customers. So you can see sales, customer details, sales, customer summary. If we click, here you choose the period. It doesn't have anything for March. Let's try to go to last month. And again, it's giving you a lot of options in terms of reporting. However, if you want your specific date, you can go to custom, and then, or you go straight here and put, say, 1/1, that's the beginning of the year to the end of February, right? And that will give you your period. And then here you can choose whether you want just the total, you want it by month, you want it by days. Here, it gives you the opportunity to eliminate anything that is not active, anything that doesn't have any information. So you put eliminate. I don't want the non-zeros. Or rather, I want the non-zeros. I don't want anything that it's only zero. And here, it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, you want to select January to February of 22, but do you want the same period for the year before? Or in case of monthly, do you want the period before? If you're looking at February, do you want to look at January? So here are your, just how to customize the report. And again, remember, you can be accrual base of accounting, cash. In this case, if it is accrual, then once you have the parameters, run report, and this is what you get. You're getting the report sales by customer summary from January to February. And here, it's giving you a report of who bought what during the period. So going back, you want another report. You want the balance sheet. Remember, the balance sheet is the financial condition. It's like taking a picture of the business as of a specific date. It's not a range, it's not a period, it's a specific date. That's why it tells you here is as of March 10. Okay, so in this case, the default happens to be today. You can always have default last month. In accounting, typically you want to start with a month before because you are running last month's at the end of the month when you close the month, typically within 5-7 days after. But again, you can make the same choices here. Even though the period says January to March, remember the balance sheet is just a picture as of one day. So here it's a balance sheet based on all the activity, and all you had to do was click. If you want to change the date to last year, last quarter, you put last quarter. Automatically, the dates are there. Run report. This is as of December. Remember, as of the end of last quarter. Okay, here it is. If you want to compare December 31 to December 31, 20, you can go previous year, right? This is something that QuickBooks Online does. You click and it didn't quite make it. You say, well, where is last year? Even though it says previous year here, it hasn't activated it. So you have to click again, and there it is. Now it's giving you, and remember, this happens to be 0 because the sample doesn't have the information for that period, but it would give you the 2 years. And if you want to analyze it further and you want to see what the difference was, you can say, I want to see the change in dollar amounts. Run report, again, run it again. Here it is. It gives you this year, last year, and the change. Once you have a report customized with information the way you want it, you can print it or you can send it to Excel for further analysis. You do it here. Export to Excel or export in a PDF. Here, it's a PDF directly. So all you have to do is print and you would get it. Or you can email it. So this is what you're going to email. Once you print it, it's going to tell you where. These are settings. You can do a little customizing, change the name of the statement. I think what's important is the flexibility. Now, what happens, let's say that I go to the P&L. Again, the default is for the period from January 1 to March 10, right? Let's say that I'm doing the review of the statement, and then I go and say, well, what's this bookkeeper, $55? I thought that, oh, no, it wasn't 55, it should have been 65. The beauty of QuickBooks Online is I can drill down to the specific transaction. It says here, January 1, check 12, which has been reconciled, okay, was for 55. But I just realized it was a mistake and it really was 65. It shouldn't be, because if you reconciled, it shouldn't be a mistake that, you know, it's going to take 2 months to discover. But all I'm trying to do is show you the flexibility of the reporting. If I change it from 55, say, to 75.50, right? I saved it, I closed it, right? And then I'm back in the report. This is where I was. It now says 75. I go back to my report summary, which is my P&L. And instead of having bookkeeper 55, is 75. And the bottom line change accordingly, okay? This is, for me, one of the great attributes of QuickBooks Online. It's very flexible. If there are mistakes, you can fix them. Now, for a traditional accountant, traditional CPA, a traditional auditor, this is a nightmare because it's very vulnerable. Because the user, and remember, the auditor is trying to vouch for the accuracy of a statement. And what was $55 5 minutes ago is now $75.50. And there is no clear audit trail. There is one, but it's hard to get. Okay, so but that's what you trade, if you wish, flexibility versus accuracy. However, I can tell you that for your purposes, small and medium-sized businesses, this is a great choice. Okay, very flexible, and you can get the reports within a click. You can design them the way you want it. For instance, I don't know if, because there's no information, I don't know if it's going to populate it, but I'm going to say that I want to do from January 1, 2021 to March 10, 2022, but I want it monthly, month by month. So what I do, instead of showing me a total, I want it monthly, right? And again, I design it non-zeros. I don't want any prior months because I already defined it here, right? So it's going to say this period, I'm going to show it to you month by month. I run the report, and here you see, again, there is no information for all the months, but here you see I have January, February, March. Every month within the period is going to be shown here. Okay, this is very, very useful. Also as a quality control, because you want to review the activity. And you can see, for instance, certain items are going to be the same, the rent, month after month after month. For others that go up and down, like utilities, you want to see, for instance, electricity, okay? CMP just had last month an incredible increase. I think it was like 6 times or something. You want to see, what does it compare to prior months, prior years? This is the way you do it. And you can do it basically, remember that this customizing is available in pretty much all of the reports. So you have the same options. You can go month by month within a period. Okay, even for a balance sheet, obviously it's going to give you the end, what the balance sheet looks like. Okay. And again, there are many reports. Don't worry about the details. Don't look at the reports available necessarily. Think back and say, what is it that I'm looking for? What information do I need? Then go find the report that you need. Again, if you need a little help, Fridays, 15 minutes, no charge, every Friday. So we have gone and reviewed the reconciliations today. We have reviewed how to generate the financial reports. Lastly, I want to spend a little time just talking about other features within QuickBooks Online. QuickBooks Online is the most popular software as a service. In other words, on the cloud, excuse me, accounting system application today in the market. There are over 4 million installations worldwide. Now, the ecosystem, the marketplace, whenever there's 4 million applications, the market for applications that can be synchronized to QuickBooks Online is enormous. In general, the system itself, the way it is, I think it's very good for the vast majority of entities, be it for profit or non-for-profit, without any modifications, other than, customizing your chart of accounts within the system. However, if you're looking for a specific, let's say, inventory control application, or you're looking for timekeeping application, or you're looking for a specialized industry with specialized needs, chances are there are ways of incorporating, integrating, and syncing other applications that have been customized to work with QuickBooks, because it's so ubiquitous that many developers said, we got to have a QuickBooks Online compatible. In the case of the chamber, for instance, Alice just told me that we use a software for the management of the membership called Chamber Master. And at the beginning, I think 2 years ago, I said, oh, they have to have an integration with QuickBooks Online. They didn't, which surprised me. But now they do. Obviously, the pressure is there. And then again, Alice just mentioned to me that some of the other chambers that are using it are just very, very happy. Because if you're very happy with, say, a management of customer software, or if you're very happy with, in our case, the chamber, the operation software, integrating it with the best, what I consider the best accounting system, is now really easy, really simple, and you can have a very powerful tool for a very small business, very affordable. I mean, that's the key. Remember, technology today makes all these applications very affordable, and you should be able to use this technology. Finally, what I want to talk about is a technical aspect, is managing users. One of the key features of QuickBooks Online is the fact that you can have access to your information online 7 days a week, 24 hours, as long as you are a user. And you can control, as the administrator of the system, you can control your users. In the Pro version of QuickBooks Online, which is the one I would suggest you get, I think it's, again, about $80 a month. You get, I believe, 5 users, okay? You have the administrator, and then you get up to what they call 2 accounting firms for free, okay? You can invite your accountant. And why 2? Sometimes people have a tax accountant, and they want the tax accountant to be able to have access once a year. And they have a bookkeeper or an accounting firm doing the financial, the books, the bookkeeping. The way to manage users, you add the users just by inviting them, okay? So you put add user. You will define the type of user. Standard user basically can use the system but cannot modify the settings. Or a company administrator, overriding. They can do anything, change, control them, the users, etc. And you can have more than one administrator. Careful, even when you trust everybody, have one administrator. Centralize it so that you don't have 2 people doing things that maybe they're not communicating and they go against each other. So have one administrator, up to 4 standard users. If you need more, I think QuickBooks is now charging like $5 a month for any additional user. Typically, in a small business, in a medium-sized business, I really don't think you will need more than 4. You really want the one that's responsible for the bookkeeping, the day-to-day, you, okay, and probably someone else. And typically what I do, I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, I would like to look at the books maybe once a year. What you do is you have maybe a floating chair, create a user. And then if somebody wants to have a peek, tell them, okay, use this, link. That's what I would recommend. Anyways, What you do is you decide which ones. You can restrict the use. They can only see reports. I don't want them inputting, changing, editing, or they can just put time tracking. QuickBooks has a time tracking app. We won't go into details on that one. So typically, if it's a standard user, what you say is, okay, this user is standard, and what you do, click next. And how much access do you want? All, none, limited, or you want them to look just at vendors, just at customers. Once you do this, okay, what you're going to do, you have defined the profile of the user, and you invite them. What's the name of the user and their email? Okay. She will get, if it's your bookkeeper, she will get an email saying, hi, you've been invited to the QuickBooks Online of David. Click here, put in your QuickBooks Online account. If you don't have an Intuit account, you can create one now. They create one, they log on. Now they have access. They can look at the records online, real time, and look at specific areas based on the limitations you provided, or they can do whatever you allow them to do. Okay. I wanted to review that because that's a feature that provides you flexibility to share, flexibility to participate, but also the security to make sure that there is consistency with the statements, there is quality with the statements, and there is always going to be relevance. Okay, now I think we have come to the end of the third session. What I would like to do is, if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm going to stop sharing. David, is there any comments, any questions you have?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Anything from prior presentations?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Well, then we come to the end. I've tried to keep it, short so that it's about 45 minutes is my target for each one of the presentations. The last presentation, we are going to wrap it all up. And I was thinking of maybe having a raffle to make sure that, we get everybody to come in, but I think they will come in anyways. So we'll save the raffle for another one of our great activities of the chamber at Ogunquit Chamber of Commerce. Alice, is there anything else? Any comments?
No, I really enjoyed today's presentation because while Dawn here does most of the inputting, I run all the reports and the analysis. So that was really helpful to see that.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, by the way, guys, the chamber right now is running their chamber software, and it's linked to a desktop system with QuickBooks. And we are now going to move to QuickBooks Online. So maybe we'll record it and, we'll show you real time, all the pains, all the complaints, we'll mute a little bit so that it doesn't disturb you. We'll warn you because some of what you're about to see might be disturbing. Not at all. What I want to do is I want to emphasize, really, truly how easy it is. And maybe, Alice, maybe we will record it. Basically, what you do with a new installation is you get your subscription, and either you transfer the information from the desktop, which is what we're going to do, and it literally takes maybe 5 minutes. And then once you're there, you have it, but with a different user interface, and you start using it the way you were using it with the old one, but you realize that this is a brand new way, a brand new universe, and so easy that maybe we'll convert some of you to accounting, maybe. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, 10 o'clock in the morning. You will be getting, is it the same link, Alice, for?
I'm not sure of that. I think it changes just because you're every other week as opposed to 4 weeks in a row. So it's always best to just register again using the link that's in the member newsletter.
Excellent. Until then, Fridays, 15 minutes.
Thank
I-
you, David. Thanks for your
Thank
time
you.
today. Thanks for all the information.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
David, stay
Thank you,
well.
David.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.